Okay, good morning. It is 5:30. Go ahead on your own and inhale and exhale. And I did not write this down on here. I thought that's what happened. I have separate notes. And then I changed what we're doing yesterday. Okay, so what's going to happen is on your own, you're going to inhale and exhale 3 times to get the mind quieted, to let the amygdalas know we are here to learn. We're going to be doing cognitive fitness today. As you can see, here are the areas that will be impacted by the activities that we do today. So on your own, inhale and exhale 3 deep cleansing breaths. Good. I am Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. Welcome to your morning mental workout. And today we are going to be doing cognitive fitness. I am the daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, the granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and the great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Now, because we're doing a morning mental workout, make sure and ensure that you have your water available. Your brain is approximately 75% water, and the last thing you want to do is be dehydrated. When you say I'm thirsty, you are already 2% dehydrated. You need hydration in order for you to be able to use your brain correctly. As I mentioned, we're doing cognitive fitness today, and here's what I'd like to share with you before we get into it. So it's hot here in Las Vegas. It's summer everywhere. And so there are people dressing how they like to dress. And so this athleisure, in my opinion, has gone to a whole nother different level. I feel like it's inappropriate when you're in Target at 8 o'clock in the morning, but really women in general are deciding I'm going to wear these things and I'm going to express myself. And so yesterday in Whole Foods, I saw a couple of older women, older than myself, not in athleisure, but in outfits that were letting everybody know that they still got it. And so I was like, well, why is that necessary? It's not necessary. My mother used to say if you wore hot pants, you shouldn't wear Daisy Dukes. And if you wore Daisy Dukes, in my opinion, you shouldn't have on Poom Poom shorts with everything out and about. That's just my opinion. You can do whatever you want. Your body, your choice. But it still bothered me. And I couldn't figure out what it was about it. And you have people, we saw older gentlemen trying to get into a Ferrari, and he had to go sideways and kind of kneel down to get in it. And I said, he's going to be in traction trying to get out of that doggone Ferrari. To each his own. So why did it bother me? And this morning it came to me, and I did a PA for today, as well as the Real Leader Brain. And maturity, because what I had written down in my notes was I was going to do maturing or mature. But then maturity came as I was researching the definition. And here is what's taking place. Cognitive and emotional maturity. The generations before me, to include my generation as an X, don't have it. The silent generation is on their way out. So we have, not the silent, the greatest generation. The silent generation, the boomers, and myself as an X don't have cognitive and emotional maturity. Overall, don't have it. And I'm going to say it. And anybody that's an X or above, hear me out. And if you try to prove me wrong, we could debate about it at a later time. So here is the definition of cognitive and emotional maturity. The brain exhibits improved emotional regulation, planning and problem-solving abilities, and reflecting a mature cognitive state. So if you have someone that's an X or above, and they are upset about everything that's happening in the world right now, and they don't have a solution, they are immature when it comes to emotional regulation. If they pop off at everything that everybody else pops off at, you are emotionally immature. If a problem is presented to the matriarch or patriarch in the family and they can't solve it, they do not have cognitive maturity. Okay? So if you can't solve the problems of the people behind you, you are not cognitively mature. Now you'll say, well, Dr. Donna, everybody can't be smart in technology. That's not what I'm talking about. My daughter started her business 4.5 years ago, and my ex-husband and my father are the ones with the skill set, but neither one of them could run a high functioning business. So I'm the one who had to teach her how to run a high functioning business when it comes to her business. That's what I had to do because I'm 29 and a half years older than her. So whatever she's coming up against, I'm 29 and a half years older than her. Cognitive maturity. I have a doctorate in education and now I'm studying neuroscience because somebody has to teach us how to use our brains day in and day out because it didn't come with an owner's manual. So I've been here 52 years. So that's cognitive maturity to look and say, well, what is it? Why can't we get the best out of people? What's happening? 12 years in, come August 13th of me saying, oh, you just got to do this. You just got to do this. And now I'm saying, oh, you can't. You can't do this and you can't do that because you don't have the connectivity to do what I'm telling you to do. That's cognitive maturity. And so what I'm seeing is a group of people who don't care about how they look at all, and then a group of people is that all they care about. And so I had this conversation with Nola because I was pissed off this morning. I was 100% angry because there is a book called The 100 Years Life, because we are living longer. What do you do? And her response to me, because I wanted her to be on my side, but she is her own independent person. And she said, well, what are they supposed to do? People are living longer. Before you retired and you had about 5 years and then you die. And now you can retire. We know people who retired. My grandfather retired in his 50s and he lived to be 93. So he had a whole nother lifetime of what do you do? So then it becomes another thing that I now have to concern myself because I'm like, why is there so many boomers and so many X's and coming to me? But then on my social media platforms, it's all these young people. So I'm like, well, which group am I talking to? And I'm talking to everybody. It's our job as X's and above to become cognitively mature. It's our job as X's and above to become emotionally mature in order to plant trees for which shade we will never sit. That's our job. That's our responsibility. So that's why you need cognitive fitness. So you don't find yourself 70 years old putting on some jeans that you can't even get out of because you threw your back out. In my case, I'm the same size that I was in high school. And so, yes, I could still wear all of those things. For what? I did that already. Because now you don't have the cognitive maturity to make a better decision. And so the outward manifestation is I still feel young. I don't want to feel old. I don't want to look like what is her name off of the Sophia off of the Golden Girls. And no one's telling you to do that. But you can transition into cognition, emotional regulation, and cognitive fitness will allow you to wake up and make different neurological decisions day in and day out. That's what this cognitive fitness is about. That's why I'm incorporating it more than just me lecturing to you, because you need those 86 billion neurons firing off to create that 860 trillion synaptic connections. So you will have cognitive maturity. So you will regulate these two amygdalas that just pop off and act like they ain't got no damn sense with the ACC and the insula saying, yeah, be mad. Keep thinking about shit that you can't solve. That's right. We just gonna ruminate. No, you need your prefrontal cortex. You need the executive function of your brain to function properly at a high level so that you don't just sit there and be 70 years old trying to get out of a doggone Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever the hell it was, and your whole back is messed up. But you want everybody to know you still got it. Got what? You should have new synaptic connections every single day. That is the purpose of cognitive fitness going forward. And what is this? Oh, this is somebody that needs to go away. Got it. All right. So who was on the live this morning? Because my number keeps going up, and at one point it was 0. So check in. Good morning. Who's here? Because I need to know, because you're going to be doing cognitive fitness. And if you came to look and like, please leave. If you're here for some entertainment, go away. If you need a dopamine boost, someone else is live and they can assist you with your hit for the day. Okay, Nola is here. Good morning. All right, Nola, I guess it's you and I. Okay, so here we go. Number 1, we're going to be making an acronym. And here's my handy dandy pad. And so we're going to be making an acronym of HI. The word HI. Give me 1 second because I got to set my timer to. And so the part of the brain that you will be using to make acronyms is the hippocampus, the left temporal lobe, and the prefrontal cortex. And this is strengthened. And good morning, Mr. Hook. And it is strengthened through the left hemisphere. So when we do this acronym, we are focused on the hippocampus, the left temporal lobe, and the prefrontal cortex. And we are going to have, let me get my timer going too. We are going to have 30 seconds. I'll give us a minute. I don't think it's going to take a minute. But the word high, H-I-G-H, H-I-G-H. Go ahead and make high an acronym. 1 minute starting now. Thirty seconds has passed. H-I-G-H, you are making it an acronym. And for those of you who just joined and you're just trying to see if this is for you, if you do not want to learn how to use your brain, feel free to leave. If you have any other agendas this morning besides cognitive fitness, 5 seconds. And time. So what is your acronym? Kevin said he is going home. Let me get into YouTube too, so I can type mine in. I'm almost feeling like I gotta have 3 devices over here now with this cognitive fitness. Okay. And I have integrity, guts, and hope. All right. And when Nola does hers, let me go back to Gmail. Yeah, Nola, I don't see it. If you could type it again. Oh, couldn't come up with it in the timing. Okay, can you type it? Because I can't see it. Someone, imbecile showed up. If you could just type it again. So again, for acronyms, it's cognitive process. And so it's a compression of concepts, memory, and chunking. And so with the left temporal, I scrolled up. It's not showing up for me. The last thing that I have that you typed is here and a thumbs up. So if you could just retype it, that would be great. It did not show up. Left temporal lobe stores words and meanings. The hippocampus consolidates long-term memory. The prefrontal cortex is the executive function for meaning and creation. And then it's the left here, left. Okay, good morning. It's hard to find you on the weekends. I'm here. Lola, if you subscribe to the channel, then you will not have to find me. It will send you a notification. So if you subscribe to the channel on the home page, then you won't have to search it. It will literally give you a notification. Here I go higher. I have yours now, Lola. Lola, we will be doing cognitive fitness this morning. Okay. So the next one is that you will need pen and paper at one point, maybe. We'll see if you don't already have it for your notes for the mental math that is coming in number 3 and number 10. So Lola, we are doing cognitive fitness this morning. Okay, the next one is, and so I will show again that today I do not have anything. We're going to do rhyming words. Rhyming words, rhyming words, and rhyming words. The cognitive process is it's the phonological processing, the auditory memory, and the sound pattern matching for my progeny. The sound pattern matching. And the brain regions that are included in rhyming words are the left superior temporal gyrus, that's the Vernix area, and that's for sound recognition. The Broca's area is for articulation and phonological processing. The right hemisphere for prosody and musicality. So for the music part of it, the rhyming part of it, and then the interhemispheric cooperation. So both hemispheres for sound and rhythm. So you're doing all that with just a rhyming word. And today's rhyming word is clear. Let me get back into my timer. Reset. We'll have 1 minute, and the word is clear. The word is clear. So you will have 1 minute to develop however many words you can that rhyme with clear. So starting now, 1 minute, words that rhyme with clear. For 13 seconds left. And 2 seconds. Okay, so Lola has rear, hear, ear, sear. And I'm gonna just say mine because by the time I type it up, that's just gonna waste time. But this is what I have. So Nola has ear, hear, beer, sear, lear, tear, dear, near, engineer, pioneer, frontier, and peer. Glow has clear, fear, here, near, hemisphere, sincere, dear, lear, sneer. And Kevin has near, beer, dear, fear, mere, meet, cheat, rear, here, peer, ear, veneer, queer, smear, spear. So meet, oh, cheer. Okay. And then I have clear, fear, steer, hear, gear, beer, revere, atmosphere, galaxphere, near, ear, lear, and jonavere. Okay, so everybody give themselves a round of applause for your rhyming words. And so now we're coming to the fun part that everybody loves, mental math. Woohoo! All right. Get your mental math on instead of your, I was going to say Missy Elliott, but never mind. Okay. So here we have 3 mental math problems. And let me go back to my mail. Okay. And that's math story. Mental math. So mental math, the cognitive process for it is numeric calculation, pattern recognition, and the most important, working memory. Love me some working memory. And so you're going to be using the interparietal sulcus, and that is the numerical magnitude of processing. You're going to be using the left angular gyrus for arithmetic fact retrieval. You're going to be using the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, and that's for problem solving and working memory. And then it is bilateral activation, but left more for the calculation. So that's all of the, and let's just look again so we can see from a cognitive fitness perspective, That's how many areas and lobes and regions of your brain that you are using this morning. That's why if it feels like your brain is firing off synaptic connections and kind of feels like it's sweating, this is the reason why. Okay, so here are your 3 math problems. I'm gonna give them to you one at a time. Let me get my timer. I'm gonna give you, let's warm you up. I'll start with the 30 seconds. I think we should get down to 15. We definitely gonna get down to 15 for the last one. So you have 30 seconds to solve this math problem. I really don't think it's gonna take 30. Here it is. 18 divided by 9, and this is mental math. 18 divided by 9 times 300. 18 divided by 9 times 300. Start now. Fifteen seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Okay. And yes, that is correct. The answer is 600. So 18 divided by 9 is 2 times 300 is 600. All right, let's reset the clock. Yes, sir. The next problem is, we'll give you 30 seconds again. And the next problem is 9 divided by 3 times 500. 9 divided by 3 times 500. Start now. Fifteen seconds. Oh, that's everybody. Okay. All right. So the answer is 1500, correct? This next one, you're going to get 10 seconds on because this is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like, how you go from 30 seconds to 10 seconds, Dr. Donna? Because I did. You will have 10 seconds to solve this one. And here it is. 1 divided by 1 times 100. 1 divided by 1 times 100, 10 seconds. And stop. Okay. Was that not? Okay, got it. Lola got it. Kevin. Okay. It was 1 divided by 1 times 100. And the answer was 100. So 1 divided by 1 is 1 times 100 is 100. Right? Am I wrong? No, it got me thinking. Yeah, got it. Okay. You didn't hear the last part. Got it. Ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to give myself a round of applause because I have had 5 trolls this morning, 5 unaccountable people, and I've not said anything to any of them, and I have just deleted them and ignored them. So let's give Dr. Donna a round of applause this morning for not popping off when wanting to. Yes, I am emotionally regulating this morning. I am letting the right amygdala rest today. Okay, number 4 is fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. And here's what happens. Where is it at? I don't have. Okay, here we go. So fill in the blank. Thank you. Fill in the blanks. The cognitive process is you having contextual predictions. And so you're having syntactic processings and memory recall. So you're going to be using the left Broca's area for grammar and sentence structure. You're going to be using the Vernix area for comprehension. And then you're going to use the ACC for error monitoring. And then the left hemisphere for dominance, because that's where your language, your words, and all of that take place. So here is the fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. Yesterday, I completed blank. Yesterday, I completed blank. That was not correct. Okay. Nola said 2 jobs. Lola said all my tasks. Dr. Donna retracted her message and said, yesterday I completed 5 Duolingo lessons. And Kevin said, yesterday I completed paying all my July bills. Okay, great. And now we are at number 5, which is a word scramble. We love word scrambles. And Glow said, my professional development. Okay. And now we are at word scramble. And again, for anagrams and word scrambles, you're using the same portion of your brain. So it is visual manipulation, working memory, and language reorganization. You're going to be using the left inferior frontal gyrus in the Broca's area. And so that's word formation and syntax. The left angular gyrus, which is semantic association. You're also going to be using the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex for the working memory, reordering the letters, and then the right hemisphere for creativity and spatial pattern recognition. I before E, except after C, E before I, except after Y, those things, the ABCs in those orders. Okay, so we have the word scramble for today. It is a 6-letter word, and there are 3 options. Potentially, you all may have some more options, but go ahead and write this down. You're going to have 1 minute to get to a word or multiple words. And let me get back to my timer. Not the weather. Okay. Here we go. Stop. Reset. So here are the letters. Matter of fact, give me 1 second. I'm going to just go ahead and type the letters in so you can see them. Let me put my glasses on before I don't get y'all the right letters. And then I'll tell y'all it's wrong. And you'll be like, Dr. Donna, put your damn glasses on. Okay. Give me a second because now it's trying to. Okay. All right. So there are your letters, and you have 60 seconds to unscramble those letters. Starting now. "15 seconds has passed. "30 seconds has passed. There are other words because you still have time. You have 20 seconds. So there are other words wrapped up in that word scramble. "10 seconds. Three, two, one, time. Okay. So the other available answers are, let me just say here because it's going to be silence for next. So the other available answers are actors, ACTORS, co-star, COSTAR, and castor, CASTOR. And I didn't have Castro, so there we have it. Okay. All right, now we are halfway through. So how does your brain feel? Grab some water if you need some, like myself. But how does your brain feel halfway through? Feel good. feel good. I knew that I would. Yes. So yeah, it's what, and again, it's what your brain is processing. And so based upon your lexicon and everything else, you're going to see. That's why there are more than one options, because I didn't see Castro. So that's how that works. Okay. How does your brain feel right now, halfway through your cognitive fitness? Checking in, doing a little breather. Catch your breath like they do in Zumba. All right. We're going to let you catch your breath, and we're going to get back into it. We're going to do a two-step to the right and combination to the left. Clap, turn, click, go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So how are you feeling? How are you feeling? And I saw yours glow. You said good. Mm-mm. And remember, if you are typing, because I do not have the ability to see you, then you are doing ... your brain, your emoji, your so that I know that you are thinking and answering the question. All right. Lola is tired. All over the place. It's the moving to the different things so quickly, don't know how else to quantify it. Didn't mean to say carrot, it was a typo. Yes, tired. Well, Lola, when this is done, take a nap, because that means that your adenosine is up and you need to take a nap. Unless I'm just, as Nola said, you got me all over the place, lady. Are we in math class? Are we in English? What class are we in? We in reading or what? So just go back to elementary school. When your elementary school teacher was responsible for being the science teacher and everything else. How do I know that? Because I volunteered at Nola School and they used to make me do all the hard work, taking down bulletin boards and putting stuff together for the science projects and everything else. So you are back in elementary school. And it is a workout. So if you think about when you are in a fitness class, like one of those classes where you think of it as circuit training in the military. So you stop, you might do jumping jacks for 30 seconds. Then you got to do push-ups. Then you got to do flutter kicks. So this is cognitive fitness. And so we got to give the brain a total brain workout. That is what's happening. But the good news is we're about to take a break with number 6. So we're going to sit in silence for uno momento, or 1 minute, as soon as I reset my clock. All right. So I'm going to switch me off. And for 1 minute, starting right now, we are going, that's great, Glow. For 1 minute, starting in 3, what you're going to do is just sit in silence. Don't think, don't do anything. As we say in Al-Anon, you're just going to be where your feet are for 1 minute, starting in 3, 2, 1. Okay, time's up. How do you feel? Glow says great. And Glow, is that, are you currently in college and that's your major in college, or that's what you majored in when you were in college? I think you're talking about elementary education. Got it. So here's some things for you. I actually have a doctorate in organizational leadership. It is an education. It's an EDD. Ensure that you continue to develop your mind as an educator well until after you're no longer, I mean, not after you're longer here, but don't just learn what you need to learn for your job. Your working memory stops functioning completely, well, starts to deteriorate at the age of 35. By 65 is virtually non-existent. So if you can continue to learn every single day, regardless of what's happening, and don't just learn what you need to learn for your job, but just in life in general, you will be cognitively fit for a very long time. You will be doing pre-service teaching in August. So that's, we used to call that student teaching. Noah says someone relaxed. So going forward, continue to learn any and everything, because that will keep your brain. If you think about your body and you go to the gym, you lift weights, you do cardio, you do flexibility with yoga, Pilates, and things like that, continue to do that. Your brain has 86 billion neurons, and those synaptic connections can lead to 860 trillion synaptic connections. So that means the brain is plastic, neuroplasticity. You can learn everything. I'm studying neuroscience right now. And like I said, my doctorate, my bachelor's degree is in public law and government. My master's degree is in criminal justice, doctorate in organizational leadership, and now I'm studying neuroscience. So the brain can learn whatever you put in it. It can learn it. Noah says, somewhat relaxed. Kevin said, I feel restless. I heard birds, crickets, the ceiling fan, airplane passing, air conditioning running, and the neighbor's dog. Dang, you need some noise canceling headphones, Kevin, for all of that. You're like, all this going on? You started in criminal justice. Yeah, we don't need, Kevin and I both. Kevin is in criminal justice. Mine is in public law and government. And so I literally had both political science and criminal justice. So you hear the air conditioner. Yes. So it's interesting. So do that. So part of the reason why listening, sitting in silence is because now you hear all of those things. So Kevin had a bunch of things happening simultaneously. I often talk about the landscapers at the golf course on the hole that's right outside our gate, because they're there multiple times a week doing something over there. But what happens, and for me, closing your eyes too will definitely make the other senses even more pronounced. One of the things that I noticed is that I made chicken stew yesterday for dinner, so the house still smells like chicken stew. So that was making me hungry, because my bedroom is over the kitchen. So, and it comes through the vents in my closet. So I was smelling, I was like, oh, damn, I didn't get my snack this morning. So I'm hungry. So sitting in silence for a minute throughout the day will help your default mode network, number one, because if you find yourself daydreaming, that means that you're distracted. And so you just bring it back in. You plant your feet, you be where your feet are, you can focus on your breaths. So in that time, in that minute, Lola, last time you mentioned that you normally don't do that unless you're praying or sleeping. So you just want to take in your environment. And so now you heard all of these things that potentially, if you weren't sitting in silence, you might not have recognized those. So you want to sit in silence because that allows you to be with your default mode network, which is what you are in your resting positions. Okay, number 7, we are going to have story problems. Now, these were always my favorite in elementary school and middle school, and no, they weren't, okay? Didn't like story problems because I struggled with reading. So here we go with all this other stuff that you got to consider, take this word that somehow means times, multiplication, all that. I'm like, why y'all just can't give us math problems? Why we got to have story problems? And why? I'm going to tell you why. So here's what happens with math story problems. So the cognitive process that you're using is integration of language, logic, and numerical reasoning. And so the areas or the brain regions that impact story problems are these: the left anterior frontal gyrus. And so that's your language comprehension. And that's where I had to lead the chat, because I did not have reading comprehension especially when I was in elementary school. And then it's your interparietal sulcus. So that's your quantity in math. What's happening in this story problem? Then the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is your reasoning and integration. If Johnny has 3 apples and Sarah has 2 apples, I don't know why the questions was always about apples and speed. And then you're using your posterior parietal cortex. So that's your spatial and logical structure. And the best news about math story problems is that it's a bilateral activation. So you got to use both hemispheres if you are going to be solving these math problems. And so here is the math of the story problem for today. I will read it twice, and you will have 1 minute. As soon as I get to the stopwatch, you will have 1 minute to solve this. And I'm going to go slow so we can all understand it. The airline has 67 aircrafts. Each plane has 42 seats. How many seats are there on the planes in total? The airline has 67 aircrafts. Each plane has 42 seats. How many seats are there on the planes in total? 1 minute to solve the problem. Starting now. Thirty seconds. $45 seconds. Three, two, one. What you got? You lost connection? Okay, Kevin, the story problem is, just so you have it, the airline has 67 aircrafts. Each plane has 42 seats. How many seats are there on the planes in total? The airline has 67 aircrafts. Each plane has 42 seats. How many seats are there on the planes in total? So part of, as Kevin works the problem, part of the issue with story problems is that things that you have to translate into numbers. Okay, so the answer is 2,814. So the airline has 67 aircrafts. That's the number, the first number, that's the amount of aircrafts that they have. And there are 42 seats on each plane. So how many seats are there on the planes in total? So that means that in total means that you're going to have to multiply them because you want to know the whole total. So 67 times 42 is 2,814. Now, the problem with that is there's a bunch of other words that you have to be able to take out to extrapolate what you need in order to get that done. And that's where the problem solving comes into play. And that's why story problems, either you love them, just like geometry, you either hate it or love it because geometry's on top. No, it's not. So that's the thing. It's now you have to combine everything, and that's what makes it the bilateralness of it all, because you have to put everything together. So great job. Give yourself a round of applause for sitting through that story problem. Now, number 8 is anagrams. And as I mentioned before with anagrams, Go back up to the top. Anagrams and word scrambles use the same part of the brain, so they're connected together. So it's visual manipulation, working memory, and language reorganization. The brain regions that are responsible for this are the left inferior frontal gyrus, the Broca area, for word formation and syntax, the left angular gyrus, which is the semantic associations, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex for your working memory and reordering letters, and then the right hemisphere for creativity and spatial pattern recognition. Nola said, if I read this, I would have got it the first time. I am used to physical, scratch them out, but throwing the audio part, I even more. Okay, got it, sweetie. Yeah, thank you for that. And I understand. Okay, so, and that's part of it, is being able to process it as you hear it, as well as being able to see it. And again, if YouTube had the functionality of TikTok, then I would have been able to type it up ahead of time and then just, you know what, that's what I could have did. Next time I do this, I'm going to just type it up, put it in my clipboard, and then put it out there for y'all to read it. That's what I would do. So thank you for that, because that's how it's really trying to figure out how to make this classroom-esque in the limited capabilities of YouTube. I still like YouTube better than TikTok lives because it saves my live and it puts it in a playlist and I don't have to do a bunch behind the scenes afterwards. Okay. And it doesn't take up space in my phone, because on TikTok, I will have to download it to my phone, have all of that taking up space, and then get it to YouTube. And sometimes the sound will be off by 1 frame. So then I'd have to make adjustments. My pleasure. Okay, number 8 is an anagram. And as I mentioned, anagrams and word scrambles have they use the same regions of the brain for the same reasons. And so the anagram, let me type it in. All right, so here is today's anagram. I knew it was going to do that. Give me 1 second, because autocorrect is turning it into the right word. Okay. So anagram, you got 20 seconds to get it, starting now. 20 seconds on the anagram. Oh, I was about to give y'all 30. All right. Yes. So it is who and how. Who and how. Who and how. All right. Who told you to do this morning, Dr. Donna? And how come you are doing this? Because I want you to use your 860 trillion synaptic connections on the daily basis. Okay, number 9, we have a fill in the blank. A fill in the blank again. And here is who and how. Here is the fill in the blank. Blank is something that I recently stopped doing. Blank is something that I recently stopped doing. Go ahead and type yours in. Let me get my glasses on. Pen about to fall. Nola said, I've stopped following as many pages. Glow said, drinking soda. Dr. Donna said, posting the 4 a.m. club and public postings on IG and TikTok is something that I recently stopped doing. And my amygdala is still pissed about that. Still, it's been over 2 weeks. And Kevin said drinking soda is something I recently stopped doing. So you and Glow have something in common. We stopped drinking soda like 2.5 years ago, somewhere around there. There's so much sugar in soda. I think it's like 68 grams in a 20-ounce bottle of Sprite. Insane, the added sugar. Because we had stopped having caffeine, but then just stopped drinking the clear, sugary fountain drinks as well. Lady J said procrastinating. Okay. And we're rounding third. We're going to finish out with some mental math. Mental math. And we're going to get 30 seconds per math as soon as I get back to my clock. And my cognitive fitness while I'm doing this is I'm going in between. So I have me, I don't know if y'all can see me in the corner of my tablet with that and my Gmail. So I'm on YouTube, I'm in my stopwatch and in my Gmail and running the live at the same time. So I'm fitter than the mug over here, boy. Woo! Let me tell you, I'm like, shit. And getting rid of trolls at the same time. Talking about working memory, working. I'm working hard as hell on a Saturday morning. Barely getting by. Okay. 9 to 5 is one of my favorite movies. All right. I recently watched it a couple months ago. Because you're a sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot. Bingo. We are at mental math now. And we have 3 mental math problems. You're going to get 30 seconds apiece for them. I'm going to say them twice. And then you have 30 seconds to solve them. Mental math. No pen, no paper, no stylus, no calculator. Use your 86 billion neurons and your synaptic connections to solve these problems. Here we go. 66 times 6. 66 times 6 starting now. 66 times 6. I didn't check my math this morning. All right, 20 seconds. Three, two, one. Okay, 396 is correct. The mundo. All right, next problem is, and I'm gonna give you 20 seconds on this one, 20 seconds on this one, because you're gonna get it. 20 seconds. The problem is 66 plus 6. 66 plus 6, 20 seconds starting now. Ten seconds. And stop. Okay, all of you give yourself a round of applause. 72 is the correct answer. Last problem for today. And you're going to get 10 seconds on this one. 10 seconds on this one. Yeah, okay. 66 divided by 6. 66 divided by 6. 10 seconds starting now. 66 divided by 6. 5 seconds. And time. What you got? Do-do-do. Ba-da-da-da-ba. Okay, 11 is correct. Now, Dr. Donna, why did you do that to us? Because the numbers got, as the numbers got smaller, the problems got simpler, the time got faster. Here's the thing. With your working memory, sometimes you have to make a split-second decision. Whether you're driving, it's in the moment, you don't have time to sleep on it, you don't have time to vacillate back and forth. That's why everything was a minute or less. Because sometimes that's all you have is a minute or less to gather all of these different regions of your brain together to have a quick powwow to make a decision, to solve a problem, to think about something that you've done, to have some self-reflection. Sometimes all you have is a minute. And as a result of that, you are training your neural pathways for efficiency when it comes to problem solving. So if there was a point, like Nola said, it's all over the place. If you think about your day, and we've said this before, your working memory is working dozens, if not hundreds of times every hour on the hour while you are awake. So you need endurance. You need to be able to answer something quickly. You need to be able to access multiple brain regions, the multiple lobes. Sometimes it's the left hemisphere, sometimes it's the right hemisphere, sometimes it's bilateral. So where are you going to get that cognitive fitness if not from me, if not here? Because nowhere else are you timed. That's why standardized tests are timed, to stress you the hell out for these multiple guests to see what you're going to do. It's a moment in time. But when you strengthen your mind and you are creating this whole total brain experience every single day, when you get ready to function for the rest of the day, you're going to naturally find yourself being able to solve problems faster. You're going to naturally be able to recall information instantaneously because of the time constraints. And that's why it's like, why are you timing us, Dr. Donna? So Thursday was a warm up. You didn't have the timing, but going forward, the timing is there so that you can have total recall and it becomes part of your muscle memory. And now you have complete access to all of these different brain regions. And so when you're sitting for what would be an extended amount of time, the answers are going to come to you faster. When you are needing to create something or be innovative, delegate any of the 74 principles of real leadership that you need to use, you're going to be able to access them quickly because of this workout. So if you think about going to the gym, fitness classes or anything, I'm much more flexible. And I laugh at myself sometimes how I'll have to literally be sitting on the floor, my 52-year-old ass, in cramped up positions, and my legs are straight, and I got to hold the drawer. So I need to use my thighs, my knees to hold the drawer in place. And now I'm using both my hands to do all these things. And I'm like, if I wasn't in physical fitness shape and flexible, there's no way I would be able to assist my daughter in her business. Because sometimes we're just right here doing things in these tight, constrained spaces, or I need to just bend down to pick something up or sweep the floor or vacuum. Because of my flexible physicality, I'm able to do that. And that's the same thing that you're doing with your brain. And that's what this fitness is about. So you have your water, so you're hydrated, so you're doing math, you're doing reading, you're filling in the blanks, you're asking yourself the self-reflection of yesterday I completed. That's you tapping into your default mode network to do the self-reflection and say, what did I complete yesterday? When you're saying that is something that I stopped, you got to access the basal ganglia, because that's where the habits are formed. And now you're saying, damn, I stopped doing something. Why did I stop that habit? And what did I do to replace it? Or did I need to replace it? So that's what those questions were for, is to utilize every fiber, neural tissue, brain tissue of your brain, because you need to have a whole brain experience every single day. That's why I brought cognitive fitness back. That's why we're going to be doing it more often, because if all I do is lecture, if all I do is tell you about the brain, and you don't have the time to actually exercise it, how do I know if it's working? How do you know if it's working? If you just go to the gym and listen to a trainer and then you leave and you don't ever pick up a weight, how do you know where your bench pressing is? How do you know how much of the dumbbells you can pick up? Recently, Nola and I were at an appointment putting a home gym together, and she picked up two 70-pound dumbbells herself. And she don't weigh 140 pounds, but she picked up them. And I have a picture of her doing it. She's like, I wonder, can I pick up? Oh, yeah, I have both of these. And that's something that she couldn't have done 2 years ago, because she's physically strong. You also need mental strength to be able to do those things. And that happens. I was trying to press highlight. So that's what this is for. So you will find yourself, with the more cognitive fitness that you do, you will find yourself being mentally fit, and it's going to feel different. Because you're going to be like, dang, I could just, you're going to start noticing things, and your brain, that synaptic connections from those different regions. I want you to be able to access your 860 trillion synaptic connections. That's what this is for. So if you were wondering why we were being timed and it seemed quick and rushed, it's so that you can do that. And so as the time got faster, the problem got simpler, because I'm not going to say solve P versus NP in 30 seconds. The engineers still haven't been able to solve that. But it is the difference between, so if you're doing, I was a sprinter in high school, so sometimes we'd have to run a couple 600s, couple 400s, some 200s, and some 100s. So it's this endurance So the 1 minute is the endurance, like the mile, the 30 seconds is the half a mile, and the 20 seconds and the 10 seconds is like running 100 and 200, because technically that's right. Today they're running faster than that, but back then that was about the amount of time that you'd be running 100 and the 200 and 20 seconds and 10 seconds, 11, 12, somewhere around there. I was slow Pocahontas back then, so yeah, not me, but the other champions. My thing was ROTC. Okay, so here's today's brain bit, and then we have the 2 questions for today, and we will be out. Your brain uses 20% of the oxygen and blood in your body. Your brain uses 20% of the oxygen and blood in your whole body. So the brain weighs approximately 3 pounds. Some people's weigh a little bit less, some people weigh a little bit more, but little big 3 pounds. I'm 127 pounds, got my fighting weight on. Yes, thank you, muscles and Ensure. Okay, but your brain uses 20% of the oxygen and the blood in your body. So I'm 127. So that puts me down to 124 if you take my brain out of the scenario, but it's using 20% of the oxygen and blood in my body. That's how important your brain is, for the size that it is, what it's using in order for you to be functioning. And that's why cognitive fitness is so important, because without your brain, you are done. You are nothing functions without the brain, and you need to start seeing it as the most valuable resource. And I understand you could be a homeowner and a business owner and everything else, but you ain't going to be able to take care of none of that without your brain. Your brain is the most valuable resource you have. You can get an artificial heart, you can get artificial lungs, you can get a liver transplant, but we are 150 years away from being able to do a brain transplant, simply because of the nerve endings and everything else. We are far, far away. That's why they're doing AI and robots and shit. So they're like, well, let's see if we can mirror it in something artificial, because it's too damn hard to mirror that and mimic that in the brain. One bad connection and it's going to be on and popping. So your brain is very valuable. 20% of it is using the oxygen and blood in your entire body. What did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? And remember, ... a brain, an emoji or something, so that I know that you still have your connection to the live, and that you are in fact thinking about these 2 questions. What did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? And what I learned today is that maturity, cognitive and emotional maturity, that's what was plaguing me and perplexing me. And I thought it was manifesting itself in cars and young folk shit, but it really is a lack of cognitive and emotional maturity. So I cannot be upset. But what did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? And again, if you are thinking and you are present, ... a brain, an emoji or something, so that I know that it is true, that you are here to learn about your brain. Not true, but you're listening to me. Do we have a thinking emoji? There we go. That's the one I've been thinking about using. Why I can't enter this content? Okay. I don't like that. Okay. Got it. Anyway, Nola said, I learned about myself. My auditory learning is my worst one. And that's where you're going to do the listening challenge as soon as you finish the self-care challenge. Glow said, I learned the importance of muscle memory and learning something new each day. Yes, Carl Munger, Warren Buffett's business partner, said, go to sleep wiser than you woke up. Then you wake up. Go to sleep wiser than when you woke up. So your expectation every day is to learn something new. And if you didn't, then it wasn't a good day. And the reason why Glow, those questions are here is because this expectation is that you learn something. So you're creating that neural pathway to say, I need to learn something new. And then the what did you learn about yourself is the direct result of that default mode network, where you are, anytime you're by yourself, you are in your default mode network. And so you want to have that self-reflection time. Otherwise, you will be daydreaming. So you spend 15 minutes or more with yourself, assessing what's taking place and checking in with yourself. That's what that second question is for, is creating that neural pathway. So every day you're saying, I need to learn something and I need to check in with myself. What did I learn about myself today? So you can keep growing. And 1 second. Lady J said, first, get back to the basics, build upon it, utilize my senses to obtain more information and build upon that. Noah said, I learned that I am faster at the math items than the English items. You're welcome. You got that from me. And then Glow said, I learned that I am a visual learner and I need to take my time when solving math problems. Yes. Now, in addition to that, Glow, is your working memory is responsible for all of the actions that you do all day long: problem solving, skill development, learning, and everything. And so in order for you to increase your working memory, I recommend that you do PEMDAS, which is, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And you can do that through Khan Academy. They have an app. Do that, because what's happening is your working memory can hold between 4 and 7 things at the same time. If you find yourself not being able to hold that amount of information, PEMDAS will help you, because you will have to look at a problem, decide order of operation, which one is coming first. That will help you with to-do lists, priorities of work, and everything else. So it's the exercises that strengthen those functions and regions of the brain, and also those neural pathways. And that is what allows you to be able to problem solve in real time, to be able to assess, create, learn, read, grow, and develop. So PEMDAS is how you improve your working memory. And you can do 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade math. You don't have to be solving the Pythagorean theorem in order for it to work. Myself, Kevin said, I like learning little unknown facts. Yes. And I like teaching those little unknown facts to you. And if you knew how I have to scour the earth for the brain bits, because it's that general information, because the brain has enough energy to power a 20 to 25 watt light bulb. My pleasure goal. It's the same information over and over and over again. So I spend almost as much time researching a brain bit that I do to get the other information for everything else. So that's quite interesting. And I think I said, did I learn about myself? I learned about myself that I don't feel like doing half the things that I have to do now. I feel like there should have been some help. I feel like there should have been some people ahead of me that should have been building something. So I don't feel like creating everything first and then learning how to use it and then teaching you all how to use it every day. It's I'm like, who did I piss off in another life? What I must have really been a horrible person, and I am making up for it again and again and again and again. That's what's happening. That's what's taking place. And then when Kevin says, I learned, did you do your I learned already today, Kevin? No. Kevin, if you did your I learned today, all I have is your 11th answer from the last math problem. Okay, yeah, so we will be going back and forth with cognitive fitness and still learning the principles of real leadership and how they have their connections to which brain regions, as well as to the hemisphere, how to use them. We'll show you them so you can start to understand the importance of those 74 principles of real leadership. It's an interesting journey that I am on. Yeah. That is what I will say. Any other questions while Kevin types in his final response for today? Comments, questions, concerns? That was just itching. Books on the brain's functions. Any recommendations? Not really, Lady J. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the ones that I read, and I have one on my desk. But this is not being taught anywhere. So you can, I would say go and I'm live every day at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The issue that I'm having is that this information is not readily available. I just started learning about the brain myself in October. And what's happening is neuroscientists are focused on the disease brain and how to make it function better. Psychiatrists are focusing on mental illnesses and how to get you to a functioning level. My objective is to get you to be the best, which is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So my whole goal is to teach you how the brain functions and how you can use it day in and day out to access your best. Currently, I'm the only person that's working on that. Unfortunately, I wish I did have some peers, but 2 books that could get you started. I would say the number 1 book is Brain Rules, because those are the 12 rules for the brain. So it talks about sleep cycles. I can see you now, Kevin, but I couldn't see your answer before. So if you could just retype it. I saw your first. In 1 second, Lady J. But Kevin, you said, last thing I have is myself. I like learning little unknown facts. So Brain Rules would be a book, but the best thing that I can tell you is to look at previous lives on my YouTube channel and go from there, because the connection isn't there. So it's this very theoretical kind of disease brain, or if you have mental health issues, just to get you to be high functioning. Now, there are people out there that are saying, oh, this is how you can be a speed reader and you can use neuroscience to manifest things. My whole plight is to take, and I call it neuroplasticity, to take the principles of real leadership and the theory of personal accountability, and then neuroplasticity and neurogenesis for you to be able to use your brain and be high functioning every single day. So for example, if you find yourself getting angry, the right amygdala is responsible for that. So if you pop off and you have no inhibition control, it's because your right amygdala took over. If you find yourself just thinking negatively all day long, ruminating over these thoughts, that's your left amygdala, and it's just ruminating and thinking with no viable solution. That's because that means that your prefrontal cortex is weak, and the prefrontal cortex should be running the brain. So if you're always emotional, you're always popping off, you're always thinking negative, that means that your little bitty tiny amygdala, and I don't, right here, it's shaped like an almond. It weighs grams in the perspective of the brain. That means that your amygdala is running your brain instead of your prefrontal cortex. So the amygdala is located in the limbic, the parietal lobe right in here, but all of that should be running your brain. So those are just some things. But my recommendation is you can start with Brain Rules, but it's not going to be enough, because you actually have to start creating neural pathways to whatever it is that you want to do. So the basal ganglia is involved in your creating day-to-day habits. So I teach all of the functionality of the brain. I'm learning it in real time, so it's an interesting time. It's kind of like if you could be when Edison was around creating things, or anybody else. Imagine if you could have sat next to Einstein at the patent office just to see what was happening. So you get to be a part of something that's actually taking place in real time, which to my knowledge hasn't happened publicly ever. All right, Kevin, just unfortunate for us that we can't see what's happening. So Lady J, Brain Rules is the only book that I completely recommend just to get you started. But my recommendation again is to just go back and watch previous lives, or continue to attend when you can, watch the replay. I'm live 5:30 a.m. every single day, and you'll learn how your brain functions. It's okay, Kevin. It happens sometimes. All right. So anything else? Oh, and then Glow, have you ever taught a professional development? I used to do that, Glow. Many, many moons ago, I was a business strategist, and so I taught people how to run their businesses, and I used to do Zoom calls and everything else. That portion of my life is over, because what has happened is my research has led me to this point. So people actually don't need professional development. What the adult population is currently, in theory, 6.8 billion adults not learning how to be personally accountable. That's why we live in a world full of unaccountability. So that's what I teach, because if you're not going to hold yourself personally accountable to be your best, professional development is not going to help you. None of it is going to work until you know how your brain functions. So if you understand how your brain functions, then you will understand what it is that you need to do. So like Nola, who's my daughter, just said, I need to work on my auditory, which is why when she finishes her current challenge that she's in, she will be going and doing a 30-day listening challenge. So it's finding out how your brain functions, and then you will be able to use it to your advantage. So me, I was in the 5th grade doing 8th grade math and reading at a 3rd grade reading level, and I didn't know why, but it's because of my deficiency that came from my mother in my orthographic processing center back in my occipital lobe. And so that's why my comprehension was off, and I was in my junior year of college before I taught myself how to read. So you need to know how your brain functions as opposed to the brain in general. And so I provide the information of the functionality of everything in the brain. And now you can say, well, is that why I keep slapping the shit out of people every time they make me mad? Because my emotions are not regulated, and I'm letting my hijacked amygdala take advantage, creating cortisol, which is the stress hormone, is going into my frontal lobe, shutting off access to all my logic, reason, and everything else. And this is why I'm cussing people out. Or is this why I'm sitting somewhere just thinking negatively all day long? Because of the left amygdala is being hijacked. And so the prefrontal cortex and the amygdalas have to work together. And that creates emotional regulation so that your amygdala can alert you of an actual threat, can tell you what's actually taking place. And then the prefrontal cortex can process it and say, is this actually true? So it's a work in progress. There is no quick fix answer. I wish there was. I'm the quick fix answer, if that makes sense. So learning this magnificent organ, and we've been studying it for thousands of years and still are at the precipice of what it is that it means to have a brain. So it didn't come with an owner's manual. I'm the owner's manual, and I'm telling you how to use it. So to be personally accountable, you can go to my website, sign up for a 30-day PA challenge, just to get your brain firing correctly, because this is a personal journey. It's about you, yourself, and you, yourself only. And then once you get to know you, then you can make the brain do what it do. All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. If you want to email me the information so I have it, that would be great as well. We do have an appointment. I believe that they might have answered the questions. Nova will tell me if not. We have 2 other appointments later today. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, safe space, different brain, glow. The teachers at the school get so mad because I am so relaxed, even when they are going off. And that's because you still have complete control of your amygdala. And what happens is when you stay in those bureaucratic systems over time, if you don't regulate your emotions on your own as things keep happening, then you become, you create that neural pathway of jadedness. So to be able to maintain that as you continue to grow and develop, because the more life happens, the stronger the amygdalas get and the weaker the prefrontal cortex gets. So currently that's where it is as you continue to take on, and it's called, actually what it's called is external anxiety. And so people want to put their anxiety on you, and if you absorb it, your amygdala is going to start running the show, and it should never be in charge because it's incapable neurologically of making logically based decisions or functionality of anything other than it's in the nervous system. It's there. It's the emotional center, part of that. Hippocampus, thalamus, hypothalamus, and the amygdala are there to tell you what's going on. So you have to maintain that for basically the rest of your life as life is happening. All right, you all go off and have a great rest of your day. Like I said, I will be back, higher power, God, and the universe willing, tomorrow, same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. You have a brain-tastic day. Take care.